Welcome back to Win is Win Football Podcast. Today is a sad day because today, my dear friend Malcolm, an Arsenal fan, is going through a rough time. And I, as his dear friend, nay, as a brother, I hate seeing you like this. It hurts my soul. And so today, I am here to cheer you up. I come bearing gifts. Congratulations. You are the champions of UEFA Bottlers League. Yet again. It's a cheap copy. In fact, this is the only cup you're winning this season.
This is actually a nice one.
Congratulations. I actually wanted to cheer you up.
Thank you. I'm actually happy for this.
But today, Malcolm.
Yes. Damn. Bro, you... Okay, go on. Do your monologue.
Today, Malcolm, is no day for celebration. Because today, Malcolm Gentry Kant.
Damn, just outed me like that. Government name and all.
Is your judgment day. You have sinned. And we have receipts. This past month, you, Malcolm Gentry Kant, said, and I quote, kind of, that you would not only beat PSG, no, but if you played Barcelona in the final, you would not only beat Barcelona, no, in fact, you would outplay them. Are you not ashamed? On the 21st of April, after beating Real Madrid, you, Malcolm Gentry Kant, said that Real Madrid is a club of small dick energy. But with time, it showed that Arsenal, much like Icarus, the boy who flew too close to the sun, Arsenal as a football club flew too close to the sun and got their dick burned. You ended up with a burned dick. Zero dick energy and zero Champions Leagues to show for it. Are you not ashamed? Also, on the 21st of April, after beating Real Madrid, you, Malcolm Gentry Kant, said, and I quote, Arteta has brought back a bunch of men that you do not get bullied anymore. No, you are now the ones pushing.
We are the men who knock.
You are now the men who knock. But you just ended up knocking yourself out.
We were knocked out.
Are you not ashamed? Because we named this podcast Win is Win, simply based on the fact that I, Ahmed Salman, said,
I'm gay.
And additionally, I also said that Arteta is simply not a winner. He's a great manager. He's a great builder. He's brought back Arsenal back to the top level. But when it really matters, when the expectations are on him, and when you are the ones that have things to lose, he buckles. And I compared him to Pochettino. But I take that back. Pochettino managed to reach a Champions League final. You did not. And I base this on the fact, now on a serious note, that back in 2022, Arteta was competing against Conte's Tottenham for the 4th spot in the Champions League. You were initially leading that race. But then you faced Tottenham and you lost 3-0. And you missed out on the Champions League. That's when a warning sign flew in my head. The next season, you improved. You were now winning the league, leading by 8 points by January 2023. And you still ended up losing the league and losing 4-1 to City. At the time, the excuse was Saliba is injured.
Among others.
Among others. The next season, you improved defensively. You started slow, but then by March, you had a chance to take the lead in the Premier League. And you lost to Aston Villa, Emery's Aston Villa 2-0 at home. And you missed out on the Premier League again. And that's when the warning flag became a red flag. This year, when the almighty City have fallen, you were expected to be the ones that win the Premier League. You're supposed to take the crown. But you once again buckled down and missed out on the Premier League. But you faced Madrid. You were the underdogs. And you outclassed us over 2 games. You destroyed us. But then again, now the expectations are on you to win. You are now among the favorites to win the Champions League. You have once again something to lose. And once again, Arteta loses when it really matters. And so at the end of the day, Arsenal remind me of Icarus, the club who flies too close to the sun and gets their dick burned. Are you not ashamed? But on a serious note, what are your thoughts?
Thank you.
He's shook.
Thank you for this gift. I'm sad that, after the game, I was like, I don't want to watch any more football for a long time.
Yes.
But now I want to watch football so you can lose so I can get a payback. Damn.
I mean, brother, you don't have to wait long. We're gonna lose the Clasico.
Yeah, that's true.
We're gonna lose this weekend.
My feelings.
What feelings?
What feelings? No, there's a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, but damn, I speak like I'm in a press conference like I wanted to play. Who do I think I am?
How do you think you should have gone through? Do you think PSG were the deserved winners over 2 legs?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Because in the Champions League, it's all about moments, key moments, especially in defense in regards to goalkeeping and in attack in the sense of strikers. And I feel like we failed in that sense. It wasn't that they were amazing, they were good. It was that we failed. I feel like the critic I had against Soraya, it showed, if you watch both the games, in the Inter keeper Sommer stepped up and they went through. Donnarumma stepped up, they went through. Chesney and Raya did not step up and they both went out. In the same sense, our strikers, I feel like they didn't perform good enough. We had so many chances, the Martinelli chance, the Trossard chance in the beginning, in the first game. In the second one, we've had Rice, Martinelli, Saka put in some great crosses. No one was there to even put it in. So I feel like it was more of...
You didn't mention the biggest chance of them all.
It's a difficult chance, but he had already scored. He had already contributed. So for me, of course, Saka, you can always critique him, but I feel like he is the only one that I know performed over these 2 legs. So that's why I won't say too much negatively against him. So, if you look at the metrics of the game, the stats, whatever, you will see that we have dominated them in so many aspects. But in the Champions League, you have shown, Real Madrid especially has shown us, it's in the moments that you win the game. In knockout tournaments, you don't have to be good over 90 minutes or 180 minutes. You just have to be good for like a minute or so. Like when you knocked out City, it was like, oh, the game is over, bam, two goals in whatever minutes.
Yeah.
And it was evident last season that we were not good enough. We didn't have the X factor outside of Saka, and there was like tweets coming out after we went out against Bayern last year that the executives were like, "Yeah, we're missing an X factor. We had to get an X factor." So who do we buy? Raheem Sterling. That says it all. So you knew we need an X factor. You get Sterling. We come this far this season, despite of everything that's happened, and we lose out because we don't have the X factor. We don't have the moments. And I feel like the moments that we lose out, they are so unfortunate. Like the first goal that Ruiz scored, Saliba blocks it, but it deflects off of him into the goal. Like it felt like it hits the post and it goes out for us, and for the opponent it hits the post and it goes in. And sometimes in football you just have to accept it. But for me, what I've realized when it comes to Arsenal, and I don't think you'll understand it because you're a Real Madrid fan, of course. For you guys, it's all about winning. But football, it's not all about winning.
No, it's not always about winning. Sometimes it's also about other teams losing. That's also a joy. If I go down, everyone is going down with me.
Hate watch
is one of the funniest things.
It's probably better than watching your team win. Sometimes, most of the times, I would say. Like watching an ordinary game of your game, it's like, oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Watching an ordinary game of your opponents lose, much better.
I enjoyed Barca losing more than I enjoyed Celta Vigo last week.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But for me, no matter where Arsenal are, if they're last in the table or if they're first, I will always support them and enjoy them. So I will never
enjoy them.
No, I
support them. Yes.
Yeah, of course. Now, even the bad years, I've always watched them, always supported them. I always enjoyed, because it's not about winning; it's about the connection you have with the club, the emotional connection, and that will never change. So, because of where we are right now, there's another pressure to actually succeed. But I'm still proud of these players because I feel like looking at what we've gone through this season and performing at this level to still be one of the best team in Europe, I can just say congratulate them and say hats off, you've done well. I will not critique a single player.
Except Odegaard.
Not even Odegaard.
Except Praya.
It's not critique. No, I won't critique them. I would just say what I've seen from the. It's not feedback, but I will still say, well done this season. I will not say it wasn't a good season, but well done. Thank you for what you giving me this season.
Fair enough.
Because it's been a bad one.
But I think you can be supportive and ask for more.
Yeah.
Like I'll take an example. I know you make fun of me because Real Madrid always win, but that wasn't the case back in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. Back then we were getting our ass kicked by everyone. We were losing 4-0 to Liverpool, 6-2 to Barcelona. We didn't win a single title for like 2 years. But I was pissed off. I kept supporting my club, but I asked for more.
Yeah.
And I think the problem here is I think you're in a very tough spot because Arteta has brought you back to the top level that you should be in. But that last thing, but I also, as much as I criticize Arteta, I just don't think any available managers are there that are better than him currently.
But I've said this before, as a team, you can get to this level with tactics. But then, to get to the next level, you need the players to apply the tactics even further. And I feel like you always say, they've invested in him, sure. But you still see like Guardiola, they invest so much money. He spends so much money, 40 million pounds, left backs, right backs, everywhere. I still feel like we need players like the X Factors and whatever, because I think it was Guardiola who said like, my job with tactics is to get you to the final third, and in the final third there are no tactics, it's just talent. And for me, that's where we lack at this moment in time.
I agree with you lacking a striker that decides the game, and I've been saying this all season.
Yeah.
I don't think Havertz would have solved this.
I think he would have.
Because he didn't solve the Bayern Munich game last year. So why would he solve this one?
Because we're a better team now this year. And if you
I personally think you were better last year, honestly.
In the run-in we were, but in the
At the end of the season.
in the Champions League we've been better this year. We are different in the way we handle big games because of players like Miles and Rice stepping up in moments. But I feel like if you watch the difference in our attack and in how we play in the first game against PSG to this one, you could see the difference with Merino up top, right?
Of course. And we said it before the game.
Yeah, and the same thing would apply if Merino and you go to Havertz, it would be an equal amount of improvement. Which
But also, PSG played without probably the best player in the world right now for 70 minutes.
Yeah,
and still we're winning two. They were winning 1-0. He came on. They scored 2.
He came on after they scored it first. But anyways.
Yeah, like he scored. They scored 1 and then he came on.
Yeah, but I'm meaning the chances that we've had, I think he would have been, because Havertz is a big game player. I don't care what you say. He delivers in the tough moments.
That he does.
Yeah.
But he's not the goal scorer that I think would have decided this game.
I think he would have. Like we said, the moments. I think he would have had the moments in the game. That I don't think many other players in our squad has. But I'm not saying that I don't want us to buy another striker. I do, because we only have Havertz and I guess Merino now.
Who do you want? Okay. Now we focused on what went wrong. Let's focus on what now.
What now? I don't think there are too many. There are a lot of strikers out there, but I think there is a lot of different possibilities that we could go for. Benjamin Sesko. Yeah, because he's a young talent, and when it comes to Arteta, when he has decided that he wants a player, it usually ends up being the player that he buys eventually. Like we wanted Raya when he was playing in the Championship.
Yeah.
We got Ramsdale because they didn't want to let him go, and eventually we got Raya in the end. So I think Sesko is one of the most likely ones. And
that's a horrible choice in my opinion. I've watched Sesko a couple of games in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Brother, if it wasn't for Sesko last year, Real Madrid would be out by round of 16. Yeah. Because they destroyed us. The only player that didn't manage to finish the chances, it was Sesko.
Yeah. Then there's Gyökeres, who I personally don't want, because I feel like he is good. He has great qualities in some moments, but I don't think he will fit the way we play. I think he's better suited for a transition side. So, like a Nottingham Forest, I think he would do great there. When people started saying, I was like, yeah, he's a West Ham striker. That's obviously I'm not meaning it in that way, but I'm saying he's not the top striker, even though he scored a lot of goals. So I don't think Gyökeres. And then there's Isak. I don't think he's worth 130 million pounds.
Isak?
No, not 130. I think that's too much.
For me, there is only one option, and it's Isak.
Too much money. Way too much money.
But you have to spend. You're the one who says you have to spend.
But I'm saying it's too much.
But you said that Arteta chose these players. Isn't that on him then? Like he got the players that he wanted.
No. I'm saying when he chooses one.
Yeah.
That's usually the one that.
But he chose Havertz.
Yeah. Where's Havertz?
He chose Ødegaard.
No, he didn't choose Havertz. It was Edu who signed him.
But he still chose him. It was in the beginning. He wanted Ødegaard. He convinced Ødegaard to come.
No. It was Edu who chose him. Edu chose him. And it was Edu and the board that basically signed because they thought it was a good deal.
And at the time it was.
Yeah.
At the time you were eighth or...
Yeah, and we're going for like 35 million pounds. It was a good deal, but now...
But also it's Arteta's choice to keep him in that position.
Yeah, right now. And we'll see what happens in the summer, because I feel like the summer is a make or break for us. This is like a fork, like where do we go from here? Because if we don't get this right this summer, we're hearing words of Real Madrid wanting Saliba. There will be talks about other players like Saka. Does he want to stay? So I think it's going to be important, like who do we buy this summer? This, like I said, Liverpool is going to be important for them. I think it's even more important for us. Like, who do we actually buy this summer? Because we need to get it right now. We can't have a summer transfer window like last year, where it was good. We raised the squad with Calafiori, Merino, but then we got Sterling, who didn't help us. Now we raised the roof, the ceiling. We need to raise the ceiling. We raised the floor so far. Like, the standards are here, but instead of it went from here to here, but now our highest point. This is where we need to improve. Like the best. When we are at our best, we need to be extremely good, and those are the kind of players we need this summer.
You need a star.
Yeah, but I don't think there's good stars available, to be honest, because Isak's too expensive.
I have two things left on this game.
Yeah,
and you're not gonna like it. The first one, and it's all Arteta related.
Yeah,
the statements of Arteta before the game. And the things that Arteta did leading up to the game, red flags. The first one, it started with him starting the best lineup against Bournemouth. If you have done the calculations yourself, that it's nearly impossible to lose out on the Champions League spot. You have your only focus on the Premier League, on the Champions League. It's time to risk it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Rest your players. That was the red flag. The next red flag was when he started mentioning the injuries before the game. When he kept repeating in 2 interviews that, after the game I went to the tunnel and I saw all these players that are injured standing on the sideline. I understand you have injuries, but now is the wrong time to mention it. You didn't say anything about it after the Real Madrid game when you were winning. So why are you mentioning it now before a very decisive game against PSG? Because before PSG, all you should think about is, we're gonna win. No excuses. I feel like from those statements, he was already making excuses before the game started. And you're creating a weak mentality before the game. Before the game, there should be no alternatives. But no excuses. You should only win.
But then in the same way, when on another press conference, they were like, "What do you think of Enrique?"
Yeah. And
he said a bunch of things, and in the end, he was like, "And I look forward to beating him."
Good, but don't mention the injuries.
But the way I received that message that he said is like, I am impressed by the players that I have, that they've been able to do these things that we've accomplished so far this season, despite the setbacks. That's the way
he said that after losing, not after winning. That's where the difference is. He didn't say that after beating Madrid at the Bernabeu. He said that after losing. For me, anything that comes after losing might be interpreted as an excuse. Wrong time to say it. Third thing that he said, and this I really do not understand.
Yeah, I know.
Against Liverpool, he said that football is all about timing and moments. Yeah. Like Liverpool, they're winning the league with the same amount of points that we won last year. Okay, but who is competing for the league against Liverpool? It's you. You are the one who caused Liverpool to win the league by not many points. That's on you. So that you shouldn't even mention it. I still don't understand that comment. There is no way to really explain it, because you're kind of like, as much as you want to like see it from the good side, you're just poking at Liverpool. And so when you poke at Liverpool, you're poking at yourself by that comment.
I don't think it's Liverpool. He's obviously using them as example because they won the league. Like I sent you the clip of Salah when he spoke about. They asked him about PSG, and he was like, "We were unfortunate to play them at that time because at the time they were one of the best teams in Europe." And that's the thing about timing. If they would have played them at a certain different stage in the season, they would probably smoke them.
That's also a manager's thing. That's where Liverpool did wrong this season. That's where, for me, a lot of teams go wrong. And the reason that Real Madrid usually win the Champions League,
We peak at
the right time. That's a manager issue.
Yeah,
That's not we were unlucky. No, you're supposed to time it.
But
you're supposed to be best.
I think he's learned about that thing because over the past 2 seasons we started slow and eventually growing to the season. But the season it's been difficult because of our injuries. Like there's so much you can do when you're limited.
Do you think you played as well against Madrid as you played against PSG? Because you had the same setup.
Not in the first game. In the second game, yes. But that's why I'm saying if you look at the metrics, it shows us that we competed with them and we played a good game. The instructions, the tactics were not wrong. It was the person.
I mean, for me, the counter attacks were quite open. Every counter attack, the defense wasn't that well set up for the counter attack. That could be done better.
Personnel. Is the difference with Kivior and Gabriel. In my opinion. But then again...
But that wasn't a problem against Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo. Why is it a problem now?
Yeah, because you guys are ass.
So your best achievement this season is against that ass team?
Yeah.
So you haven't improved much then?
As a team, I think we've improved. Because we could see that despite negative setbacks in our squad, we can still compete against big teams.
I think
it's not a coaching issue if you manage to create more expected goals than any other teams in the semifinals of the Champions League, despite the injury.
But it's a coaching issue if you have the recurrent problems every year.
Of course, I'm not saying Arteta's faultless. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I don't think he is the issue at this club.
I think he's one of them.
No, most definitely not. But he has obviously issues that he needs to address. Like, they're always the same types of teams that beat us. I know that. There are always the same things. Not always. There are certain things that happens and which he needs to address. I'm not saying that he's faultless, but I'm saying that I don't see any other coach that I would rather want at this club.
Currently?
Yeah.
I agree. Of the ones that are available.
Not even available. Anyone.
Okay, I could mention several managers that could do it better than Arteta.
Sure.
Because you have a good squad, in my opinion.
We need to get rid of some of them, though.
But okay, and then another example of a team that didn't spend much, don't have the best players. Inter. That's a manager that could do better in Arsenal, for me. Definitely.
I'm not sure.
Oh, definitely. Because you have the team to play a three at the back. You have the midfield. So for me, that's a manager that could do better.
We need a Dumfries, though. That guy on his own is crazy. Don't get me started, man. Saka is not a wing back.
Trust me, he would be.
No.
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 I think you should, but next year, if Arteta doesn't win either the Premier League or the Champions League, you should go for Inzaghi.
They are in the same mold. There wouldn't be that big of a difference for me.
Huge. Now, I think like up until when it really matters, then the difference comes.